All right, I'm Chris Avina with the American Outdoor News Podcast. I'm here again with my friend Craig Boddington, who is really an icon in the industry. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us, Craig.
Oh, thank you, Chris. It's good to be with you. And, of course, we're here at the Safari Club convention in Nashville. And, man, what a bomber of a convention this has been. It's fantastic.
It really is. The crowds are unbelievable. The energy, and there's just so much going on. It's a great show.
It really is. This is fantastic. I've been doing these shows for, oh my goodness, since the late 70s. And wow, I've never seen anything like this. Nashville is a great place to have a convention. And you know what I like best about this show is we're seeing a lot of families, a lot of kids. And just a lot of young people, and everybody's smiling, and the exhibitors are happy. I mean, this is really what you hope for in the Safari Club convention.
Now, you were a TV show host, you're an author, you have so many things going on. Now, I know you're heavily involved in anti-poaching efforts, and I know they're doing a lot of that in Africa. What's new on the anti-poaching front that the public should know about?
Well, it's kind of, although that's the game department's job, the real anti-poaching boots on the ground is primarily done by outfitters protecting their concessions and making sure that they have sustainable use of wildlife for years to come. And, they've gone heavily in recent years to motorized patrols using dirt bikes, a lot of mobility, and just like in so many things in the world, drones have become increasingly important. Heavy use of drones for patrolling and for pinpointing poachers' camps. Drones are incredibly important these days.
Now, I know you said something that really kind of piqued my interest. Outfitters have the perception of just going to go out and hunt, but they are so ingrained in preserving the conservation of various species and the land for generations to come. And isn't that where our hunting conservation model started?
Well, it really is. Every country does it differently. Here in the United States and Canada, we've got the North American model that was started by Theodore Roosevelt, and on this continent, we believe that the people own the wildlife. But that's very unique in the world. Elsewhere in the world, either the landowner or the government is the owner of the wildlife and therefore responsible for its use. So it's done differently. And in Africa, it kind of depends on whether it's a private land situation, which is largely the situation in South Africa and Namibia, or in wild Africa, where it's government land, and the outfitter is actually renting the land from the government. And in the old days, when Kenya was the heart of the safari industry, the block system was basically done first come, first serve on a reservation basis, very much safari to safari. But today in Africa, the outfitters tend to have these government areas on long-term use. And obviously, if they misuse it, then they're going to lose it, but it behooves them to take care of it, because they may have it for 3, 5, or even 20 years or more, and they absolutely have to take care of it and ensure that it's going to be protected, so that they'll be able to have that utilization and then continue it beyond. So it's really a changing game, and with long-term use like that, they simply have to take care of it. And so anti-poaching and management, habitat improvement has become really, really critical to today's hunting outfitters.
Well, if the wildlife disappears from their property, so do their clients.
Well, absolutely. And so does their livelihood. So it's not altogether altruistic, I'll be honest, but it's also essential, and done properly, what it's created is really a rebirth in African wildlife. I mean, South Africa had almost nothing in the late 70s when I was first there, and it really sprang to life, mostly on private land. And today there's, at least 20 times more wildlife now than there was 30 years ago in South Africa. And Mozambique is a wonderful example because they had a terrible civil war that lasted from about 1975 to 1990. And at the end of it,
that's right,
there was almost nothing left because wildlife was used to feed both armies, feed both warring factions. So when they reopened hunting in Mozambique in about 1990, there was nothing left. But the outfitters came in and started working with the local people and taking care of the wildlife. And today, in many areas, not countrywide, it's back. It's just as good as it was in the 70s.
Yeah, they were known for their hunting prior to their Civil War.
They were, and I was there about 1988 when the first ceasefire came in, and I even wrote that, I don't know, I don't think Mozambique can ever come back. And fortunately, I was dead wrong. Given protection and management, wildlife is wonderfully resilient. And the pioneer outfitters came back in about 1990, and they started taking care of it. And, it was slow, but it's built up, and they've just done a wonderful job. And that's just one example of what's happened all over the African continent.
Now, you're known for your interest and vast knowledge on firearms and various cartridges. What is your cartridge of choice to hunt Africa?
Well, it depends on what I'm hunting for. Truthfully, for plains game, and of course, at least 60% of all safaris are plains game safaris. So targeting various antelopes from little dikers on up to maybe 800-pound zebra, 500-pound wildebeest. And so with Africa, you got to have versatility. And on my first safari, that was the first time I ever used a 30-06.
Oh, wow.
And the good old 30-06 is really, to me, still one of the very, very best choices for African plains game. Now, if you're going to hunt bigger animals, whether it's a 2,000-pound eland, which is the largest antelope, or whether you're going for a 1,500-pound buffalo bull, you need a bigger gun. But the good old 375 is still an ideal choice and still one of the most versatile cartridges in the entire world.
I'm more of a 308 type of guy.
Sure. And I'm a 30-06 guy, but you know what? They're interchangeable.
There's like that much difference.
There's 7% difference between the two. So anything I say about the 30-06, you can still say about the 308.
They'll both take down the same game.
Oh, you bet. Absolutely.
What about for whitetail here in the States? I know that's your game of choice.
Well, it is. I've got a farm in Kansas, and we outfit on it on a very, very small scale, but we have fun. But now my country is pretty thick woods. I'm not the wide open Kansas you're thinking of. If I was the wide open Kansas, then you'd need something with a little bit of reach. But
like a 270.
270 or one of the PRCs or a 7mm Remington Magnum. In my country, the shots are close, and so I love to see 270s. I love to see 7mm 08s or the great old 7x57. And our hunters that come kind of read my stuff, I guess. But so every year we see, and I take notes on what everybody brings. And every year we see multiple 308s, and we see a couple of 30-06s, we see 270s, and we see a surprising number of 7x57s. Because that's my favorite.
Well, I grew up in New York, hunting New York, and like you said, it could be kind of thick. Need more of a brush gun. Although I love my 308, I can't say enough about my 30-30 lever action Marlin. I love that gun.
Nothing wrong with the 30-30, and I think between my neighbor and I, we got about 24 deer stands, and I've got one that offers a possible 300-yard shot. The rest are all closer. And so I often use a 30-30. It's fine. Most of our stands, 75 to 125 yards is going to be your shot. And 30-30 is plenty of gun. Now, I've never had a client, I've never had a hunter bring a 30-30, but that's often what I use.
Well, it's a good brush gun.
Sure it is.
And by me, 100-yard shot is a long shot. Most of my deer have been taken with a rifle, 50, 70 yards, with a bow inside of 20.
Sure, absolutely. I'm not a bow hunter. I admire you for that. But
I'd hunt with a slingshot if I could.
Absolutely.
But there's multiple calibers. You see in the way the evolution of firearms, just the changes and the way things are going. What do you think about what you see on the floor? Even like the Bagara booth came out with some amazing stuff this year.
Oh my goodness! Rifles are changing, and we're getting better barrels, and the new calibers are really not terribly new. They kind of are covering ground that's been covered for a long time. However, we're going to the faster twist barrels for heavier bullets,
correct,
for long-range use. And although I love to ring steel at long range, I'm not a long-range shooter on game. I'm really not.
Yeah, I can't shoot that far. I don't have those. I don't have those opportunities for 400-yard shots, so it's not something I regularly practice for.
No, and you have to practice, and you have to have a range that allows you to practice. I mean, in order to shoot at distance, you have to practice at actual distance, because you have to learn to read the wind, and that's the greatest variable. And of course, the wind could be different where you're shooting than it is at the animal. The wind can be vast, and you have to try to read it, and at some distance, you really can't read the wind properly.
Yeah. So for a new hunter, what would you say they should start out with, and where should they start hunting?
Well, it depends on what you're going to do. It depends entirely on what you're going to do. I mean, America is a deer hunting continent. All American hunters are deer hunters, whether they're in the East or the Midwest hunting whitetail, or the West hunting mule deer. Deer is always the starting point. For what you're going to use, you need to look at the country you're going to hunt in. In so much of the country, pretty hard to beat a 308. 30 calibers hit hard.
They do.
Whether you choose a 30-30 for close range, or a 308 for medium range, or one of the Magnum 30s for reaching out a little bit, 30 calibers hit hard there. However, you got a little recoil to deal with. So
yep.
I'm still strong on the good old 270. And today, if you want to go modern, the 6.5 PRC and the 7 PRC both are extremely versatile new cartridges. And I do have a 7 PRC, and that's what I'll use for sheep hunting and even for elk hunting with heavy bullets, where I know I'm going to reach out a little bit more.
Any new books on the horizon?
Well, I'm working on one now, but I kind of have to pace myself. It's been a couple of years since I've had a new book. I'll have a new one next year.
About buffalo?
No.
Buffalo ran its course.
Every 10 years for the past 40 years, I've done what I call a 10-year Africa book that kind of recaps the 10 years. And next year would be the year for my fifth and last, and it will be the last 10-year Africa book. And I decided not to do that. Next year is also the 50th year since my first safari. So the book I'm working on, and I'm 100 pages into the manuscript, is a 50-year perspective on African hunting and how it's changed. And I'm finding it very difficult to write, because I'm having to do a lot of research on what's happened in the various countries. But it's a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll get this done in the spring, and we'll have it out next year. Well,
I'll definitely look forward to reading that, as well as some of your others that I've already put to bed. And I appreciate your time
well, thank you. And you can always check me out at CraigBoddington.com, and all the stuff is on there. And Chris, it's so good to be with you, and good to see you, my friend. And what a great convention this is.
I've been having a ball. I haven't seen a lot of it. I've been stuck in the office here. But
I know, but you got a great view.
I do. Well, thanks again for taking the time to listen to us. Hit that subscribe button. I want to thank SEI and Underwood Ammo and Hunt of a Lifetime for sponsoring this episode. And we'll see you again next week.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a nonprofit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.